Good afternoon, ladies and gents. Bit of a sad one today, I'm afraid, but it is history, so a piece that shouldn't be forgotten. We're at the East London Cemetery and we're at the Hallsville Memorial / mass grave. Loads of people were waiting to be evacuated in Hallsville School. What the story is that I read and what my dad told me is the coaches had accidentally been sent to Camden Town rather than Canning Town, and by the time they figured out and turned round, an air raid was going on. Now, officially, they said that I think it was less than 100 or 200 people had died, but non-officially, far more than that number died, and they kept the numbers low because it would have been bad for morale at the time. People killed in enemy action, 1939-45, buried below here. So it is a mass grave, and it doesn't mention that it was the Hallsville or anything. It wasn't a cover-up as such, but it was a cover-up. Because if this become nationally known, the Germans would have loved it. So we'll focus on each of the name tablets and get some views of the memorial, and then the other part of this video will be stuff I've found and put together, which I'll do at home. I was going to film at the school because there is an Hallsville school built roughly near where that is, but I wasn't quite comfortable with the idea of that, you see, so I've figured out another way to do it. I do the bits and pieces from at home, because Canning Town is still a bit of a rough area, and even on a day off kind of thing, if you get caught filming a school, you could theoretically be called all sorts, and that I would be absolutely just mortified, because I hate those kind of people. So yeah, so we'll do it another way. My ex that I was with, that's Brenda at the top there, that's her granddad's sister, and she was 7 or 8 years old. That's just one of the personal stories that I do know. People may have relatives that you recognise here, or names that you recognise here. Please feel free to share your memories. I don't need to tell you to do that respectfully, because I know you will. Citizens of West Ham killed in enemy action. The names of those citizens, and then it's got the bit about them buried below. They're buried below. Foxes were living under this, and may still be, and it was in a pretty poor state a few years ago. But they've levelled it all out, and they've tried to keep it looking as original as they can. They did clean it, but it's got dirty again. Obviously the pollution in London, it's and white stone. There's a lot of names here, isn't there? Each one of those a memory, a life lost, and a bloody awful tragedy. A bloody awful tragedy. And they, as I say, they kept the numbers down. Propaganda, morale, that kind of thing. It wouldn't have done, as they'd say, it wouldn't do to have our enemy know that they dealt us such a blow, and it was a big blow. It was a very big blow. My great-grandfathers, one was called Harry, the other one was called Arthur. On my nan and granddad's wedding certificate, their occupations is demolition workers, and great-granddad Harry, he was a demolition worker that sifted through, dealt with the aftermath of this, which he never spoke about. These ones here, they're the servicemen, I believe. I could be wrong. 1940. Someone said to me that these numbers, they think second-hand. Someone said to me they think those numbers are grave numbers where they're buried in private graves, but I think that they're servicemen that were possibly staying with their families, waiting to see their families evacuated. Notice Ollie's pie and mash shop from Rathbone Street Market, Mrs. Ada Ollie. That was one of her relatives. I remember my nan telling me about that. She was a great big woman, Mrs. Ollie, and tough as old nails, tough as old boots. It broke a lot of people, this kind of thing did, as war does. Deo Confidimus. I'll check that out, what that means. It's obviously Latin. I'm at the cemetery today as it's my granddad's anniversary tomorrow, so I don't come very much now. So I was tidying up the grave, and this is one I've been meaning to do for a while, so finally got round to it today. And unfortunately, they're not here at the moment, and I'm hoping that something may have been done about it. The last few times I have come to the cemetery, there have been like alkies and what we'd call smackheads types sitting over there in the loitering about. And my nan and granddad's grave, which I won't show you because obviously it's a family thing, is right near here, and we've had a few bits and bobs stolen off of that, unfortunately. So yeah, one of them was a brass cross, another one was a pot, you know, those metal pots that the flowers go in, and it couldn't have blown away, so I weight the things down because we had them blow away once in a storm. So yeah, people are lovely, aren't they? Right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the first part of our video, the Hallsville Memorial. If you have memories or recollections or anyone that was lost or whatnot in that, please share your stories. It's important that these people were remembered and not forgotten. See you all in the next part of the video. You see the ruins of South Hallsville here, 600 killed, but at the time officially the numbers were kept much lower for morale. This was one of the worst wartime disasters to strike the East End of London. Prime Minister Winston Churchill visited the East End the day after the Hallsville tragedy. This is one that my own family were caught up in. My nan remembered this one well, and my own great-grandfather Harry worked as a demolition worker on the aftermath of it.
At about 5 p.m, the first of 400 Heinkel and Dornier bombers began their descent over London. Another 400 arrived around 8 p.m. to continue the attacks. Damage to the docks was devastating, and many lives were lost north and south of the river on what quickly became known as Black Saturday. Incendiary attacks began fires which burned for 5 days. Not since the Tooley Street fire of 1861 had South London endured such widespread destruction. On the North Bank, cargoes of flour, paint, rubber and sugar sent an inferno of flames into the night sky, which was visible for miles around. This little scene footage, filmed by the London Fire Brigade, is from September the 25th, 1940, after 18 days of successive bombardment. the aftermath, Prime Minister Winston Churchill toured the stricken areas. Travelling on the PLA launch Nor, he took to the Thames to review the damage inflicted by enemy action. Here, Churchill is seen examining damage to flour mills at the Royal Victoria Docks and the devastation inflicted on the nearby community of Silvertown. London and its port remained a prime target for the next 4 years. Despite ferocious air raids, as well as V-1 and V-2 rocket attacks, the docks continued to operate. Indeed, the port played a vital role in supporting Britain's war effort, and port workers were responsible for the development of many secret wartime projects.
Hope you all found this informative. It's very sad, of course, but these people's memories shouldn't be forgotten. It was covered up once, so it shouldn't be again. If you found it informative, please give it a like and a share. Thank you for watching.